What's going on, guys? Welcome to another of Where Rob's Prime figure reviews. And this time I'm going to be reviewing another figure from the Geass series, and it's going to be the Lancelot. Not just any regular Lancelot, but the Lancelot Ceremonial version. The Lancelot Ceremonial version was indeed a Tamashii exclusive online, which you could only pre-order from their website or from Big Bag Toy Store, which usually carries Tamashii exclusives. And this is how it looks. As you can see on top, Lancelot Ceremonial version, and right away as well, it doesn't have the window where you can see the figure. It has the Bandai and Tamashii Nations logo, the Robot Spirits logo on the side, and as you can see right here, the R number SP, usually meaning an exclusive. So once again, this is the front, the right side, the back with Suzaku Kururugi, its pilot, the left side, the top, and the bottom. Now let's look at how the figure looks. Just a quick FYI, being called the figure or Nightmare Frame being called the Lancelot, I just wanted to point out if anybody of you knew that its manufacturer was Camelot. You know, because like Lancelot is part of Arthur's round table round, something like that. Inside you'll see it's the figure in its packaging and an instruction sheet. Putting the instruction sheet outside, you can see the Lancelot Ceremonial version with all of its accessories and items with it. Now let's look at how the figure looks. Presenting you the Lancelot Ceremonial version. As you can see right away, it can stand on its own, but obviously what figure wouldn't work best with the Tamashii stand? And first of all, let's take one small and good look at it for a bit. Okay, now if you haven't noticed already right away, it is entirely different compared to the royal coating that you assemble. Entirely different to the Robot Spirits exclusive normal Lancelot. This Lancelot with its aesthetics is out the roof. It doesn't have a white finish to it, and if the camera picks it up, it has more of a pearl finish to it, and the gray areas are a little bit more glossier as well. And especially, like, if you haven't noticed by now, come on, that gold vibrant color around it, especially when the light's hitting it, it's pop. Come on, just speechless. It really looks amazing, and especially it would be like a red, brown, maroon color for the Slash Harkins. Everything about this aesthetic look for this figure just pops out, and it really is intriguing to the eye. So let's get started with the Lancelot's articulation. Starting off, the head can move that far down, can move that far up. It can do the 360. Obviously the head can swivel, and unfortunately it can't do the chicken. Oh well. The hand, or the arms, excuse me, extends that far out. One thing that I noticed and pretty cool about the arms, as you can see over here, it has like a butterfly effect to it since it pops out. You see it go in, you see it go out now, to give it a little bit more of a pulsability to it, but not much since the arm can go that far back and that far forward. It has a small bicep swivel to it, which you can't really tell, it just slightly moves. The elbows are double jointed. That's one, and that's two, giving you a 180 bend. The arms, as you can see, or I mean, excuse me, the hands are on a ballpoint, so you have full movability over it. Before I forget, it has 2 fact spears, which is part of its articulation since both of them can pop out. And go back in. Down to the waist area, it's on a ballpoint and you can move it around, and it can do its ab crunches that far deep in and that far back, just slightly back. It has a bit of a swivel to it. It can do the 360 around, but the area inside for its stomach area tends to turn and not stay in the correct position. But if that happens to you, don't worry, since like I just said, it's on a ballpoint. You can just pop it off, fix the area inside, and put it back on. Now to the hip area. Let's move the arm out of the way. And let's move this a little to hopefully give it more of an articulation. The legs can go that far out. And obviously, if the arms weren't in the way, you can do the 360 all around, that far back, and that far forward. In its knees or kneecap, it is once again double jointed. As you can see, one joint's right here and the other joint's right inside, giving you a 180 bend. Right here it has an ankle anklet, I think it's pronounced, which moves up and down, and that's it, to give it more of a possibility to it when you're like want to put it jumping off. And as you can see right there, that's as far as the foot goes up. That's as far as it goes back. And it does have a slight ankle swivel to it, but it has more if you pull it back, since this doesn't get in the way. And last but not least are these. It's land spinners, which as you can see already can go that far out and go back to its position. It's on a ballpoint, so it has 360 mobility all around, and its wheels are made out of plastic and movable. Now let's look at the Lancelot's accessories. And here are all of the Lancelot's accessories. And just to get it out of the way, if it wasn't enough with the figure's aesthetic build to it, just look at all the accessories displayed right out in front of you, with its swords, vibrant, power down and powered on mode, the rifles, vibrant colors to it, once again the slash Harkins, which we'll get in due time right now, but just amazing once again. And now for sure, the last 2 points of articulation are on its sheets, which the Lancelot's included with too. And on the sheets, if you can see, it has an L, meaning it goes on its left, but not on its left when you're facing the figure, but when you're looking at it from behind. If it doesn't go in correctly, it means because this piece or peg, you need to turn it around for it to go in smoothly, which was its left. I'm putting it on the wrong side right away. Goes over here. There we go. Before I put the other one on, the 2 points of articulation are right here, which is on a ballpoint peg, and right here, which is a straight peg. The ballpoint peg lets it have a 360 movability all around, which I'll show you on the figure. As you can see, that piece that I was talking about, the ballpoint, lets it move all around. And the other piece over here, which was the straight peg, lets the sheath move around. So those are the last 2 points of articulation. And lastly, oh yes, I forgot to include that this sometimes falls out. Not frequently or when you're moving it around, since it is sturdy on it. But it just moves around, pops off when you're trying to pose it. But it's not that annoying. The only annoying thing about this figure is that its cockpit doesn't come out, and in the instruction sheet doesn't say that this comes out. So that point right there is just excess, where they probably making the figure for it to cool down. I don't know. I don't want to try ruining the figure, so I'll just leave it at that, since most of the instruction sheet for the Code Geass figures, it says that the cockpit can move, but in the instruction sheet it said nothing about it. So there we go, the last points of articulation for it. Starting off with its sheets where it contains the swords. Once again, they have a vibrant color to it, for, I guess you can say, like stainless steel power down swords. And I really like how they kept up with the counterpart comparison to the anime, how most of the Lancelot figures don't put on this green emerald at the hilt. This is the hilt, and I forgot what this piece was called, or area was called, but these 2 green emeralds back in front are on. And now for the Macer and VS's Macer vibration swords turned on. Just look at it. It's so appealing to the eye. And once again, they kept up with the green emeralds. This piece right here goes in the back of the Lancelot right here. And this piece is for it when you want to use the Tamashii stages for it, which goes right here, and you're able to move and pose the figure around. Next is the half-fired or close combat / Harkins. Comes in 2. The Blaze Luminous Shield, which can go in either arms. The arms / Harkins, as you can tell right here, goes there. It's on a bendable wire. And once again, here's a bigger, fuller display of the red, brown, maroon color to the / Harkins. Here are the / Harkins for the hip area, which is on a ballpoint. You can easily pop off and pop back in. Including with the pair of hands it already has on. The Lancelot comes with 6 pairs of hands. The standby mode it has on it already. The open, spread out like posing hands. Closed fist. Gun holding hands for either side. Sword holding hands, once again, for both sides, obviously. And lastly, once again, sword holding hands, but there's a slight difference to these. As you can see, if you're putting it straight on, it would have more of a angle to it compared to the sword holding hands. If you put it straight on, it's more straight. The purpose of these, as you'll see later on in the video at the end, I'll include pictures, is for it to make an effect of the figure pulling out its swords. And lastly, the rifle. The variable ammunition repulsion impact Spitfire particle rifle, or Varys for short. It has 2 points of articulation, as you can see from the metal rings right there, so it can look at its power down mode and its on mode and keeping up with its vibrant colors. This piece detaches, since this is the, I believe, if I remember correctly, the short range to fire, and this is the long range, which you just simply put back on. And just take a moment to just look at this. Once again, like I said, its aesthetic build to the figure and its aesthetic look to its accessories, just out of the roof once again. So overall, once again, I can't stress it enough how the figure looks with its aesthetic bodies and everything. Just 10 out of 10 out of everything. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention. Sorry for cutting the picture short. This piece moves or comes off. So this piece comes off, so you're allowed to put this on for it to have a fired or close combat look to it. And if you want to have the Blaze Luminous shield up, this middle piece comes off, which has a peg on the other side for it to allow to hook up to the arm. You take up the Blaze Luminous and line it up to how it's supposed to go, and put the power down mode of the Slash Harken, and back to the figure. And there we go. The Blaze Luminous shield. So, like I was saying, overall this figure is 10 out of 10 on its aesthetic build to it, or color to it. Its possibility, especially, it is a very possible figure, but the only downside about it is towards its anklet guard, anklet, armlet, whatever it is, but the anklet area, where if you want to put it like jumping, it will make it look awkward at times, but that's the only downside to it, plus the hatch that doesn't open, the cockpit. But overall, it is a really amazing figure. I can't stress enough, once again, its aesthetic look to it. Overall, it really is an amazing figure, and I'm glad I was able to find it. And hopefully, if you really like this figure and you were a little bit let down on the Royal Coating Lancelot one, this figure will not let you down. And this has been Aware Rob, and I'll be seeing you guys later.
Body